one thing I know what acting does with especially with music, it allows me to be honest, and it allows me to be truthful and to mean what I say. That's what I realized with acting. So now when I'm recording a verse and if I don't feel it as much and if I don't believe myself, I then stop my verse and then I record it again until I have that emotion right. So now acting does that. Like acting automatically allows me to have that correct emotion for the verse that I'm trying to put into this vibe.
Welcome to Make Art, the podcast that helps creatives get creative. Our community of entrepreneurs will show you how to turn your passion into a sustainable income-generating endeavor. Broadcasting from Cape Town, South Africa, here's your host, Shaundeon.
Hello friends, this is Make Art. This is the podcast where we try and get you to activate your creativity and turn it into something that pays the bills, or at the very least, washes its own face. If you are a performing artist, you have expenses. It costs money to do the things that you are doing. If you're a painter, it's canvases, it's paint. If you're a performing artist, you need to get to gigs, and of course we need to eat and pay the rent, and a little bit of help is always welcome. I have with me today a good friend of mine, someone who I've known for a good long while, Shaundeon Afrika, also known as King Smasher, also known as Smasher the Greatest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, man. Thanks for joining us. Lucky to have you here.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Excellent, excellent. How's the energy levels? I know we just had lunch. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I feel, that's that vibe when you had a Sunday lunch, then you also just, like, your battery starts wearing down.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to try and fight against that.
We need to.
Yeah,
we need to, bro.
No, don't worry about it. Sean, you are a performing artist, a recording artist, you're an actor, you've done TV work, you've done theater work, a songwriter, what else? A rapper, a singer. The list goes on and on and on. Like, what next? Where is it going to go from here?
Nah, I think that's it, what you've mentioned there. I don't think there's anything else to add to that. Because I'm trying to think now, what else can I do? But then I was like, nah, you've mentioned it all. So
Well,
I think that's
plenty, so don't feel too bad that there's nothing more.
I've been doing some directing and stuff like that. So, but I feel like that comes with acting. If you act, sometimes, most of the times, automatically, you probably have a sense of direction, for directing stuff. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm heading also now.
Wow, that's wild. Have you written anything?
Not anything yet, but I'm planning to try. I'm planning to direct some stuff with a friend of mine. So. Hopefully we pull it off.
That's wild. I'm gonna keep you in mind for my next music video.
Devs. And I direct most of my videos, like actually. The music videos and stuff, like the ones that has like storylines to it, acting storylines, like that's mainly directed by me, and the concepts I normally come up with that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because I definitely got the impression that you're sitting on some stories and you're sitting on some things that you would like to tell.
Yeah. No, not anything concrete as yet. Still in the pipeline, working on it, so I don't want to say anything because I'm not sure where it's heading.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, the idea is not to trap you here and make you commit to a bunch of stuff that I can hold you to later. Yeah. So Sean, like, what? Are you an actor first? Are you a musician first? Are you a creative first? What would you say is your primary form of expression?
I think I'm just a creative first, but I do think, like, I obviously started with music, so that's where it all started. And then obviously after doing music and while doing music, I started developing skills for acting. Or I started finding out that, okay, cool, I can actually act as well. So yeah, and then acting obviously developed from there. Did drama in school, but just did it because I needed an art subject. I needed to do art. I kind of wasn't doing well in music in terms of my theory and stuff like that, so I needed a different art subject. So when I had to select another art subject, I had to choose whether it was between dance, drama, and design. So obviously for me, the only thing that made sense was drama, because I can't draw and I can't dance.
Okay, it was the default option. I got you.
So I just did drama, but then after a while, started like discovering, okay, cool, I can actually act. So I just pursued it from there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I met you the first time. I met you through your music career, or as a performing artist. You were part of this group NBJ, Nobody But Jesus, with some other young dudes.
Devs.
Could you perhaps give us like the just the elevator recap from there to now, how your career has progressed and where you are finding yourself now, because you're a solo artist right
Yeah,
now.
devs. Yeah, no, look, I was part of MBJ. It was me, Alex, B, and Aiden, the four of us, we were rapping. And I think like for us it was cool. Like how it all started was so great because I mean before we started doing music, we've always been friends. So obviously now being friends and stuff like that, we start developing. Okay, cool. We can actually do music, you know. And when we started developing those skills and started discovering that we actually love music, and then we decided to do it. And then we thought that okay, maybe the best thing would be for us to like be a crew, you know, do it together. And also we also figured like most successful artists like normally start out in a group, and then from there they kind of like launch into being solo artists and do their own thing. So we thought it was a good platform for us to start off as a group, which we think was good because now we were performing, you know, together on stage, and the confidence was like it was lekker, man, because you know you had your homie on stage with you, so like if you were feeling some type of way or nervous or anything like that, you know you don't have to stress because you've got three other men covering for you while you're on stage.
There was definitely confidence because you guys, your show looked like a rock show, eh? You're jumping up and down, you get the audience dancing.
Crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, nah, that's what we were known for, like that jumping and stuff. So that was our energy that we brought to a stage and stuff. But I mean, it was good. And I think from there onwards, I just like when I went solo, I just obviously had to do a couple of music, I had to do a couple of songs to try and find my sound. And I think when I got my sound and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to say necessarily, it was easier on from there. And then when it started becoming easier for me, it also started becoming what's the word? Like it started becoming more evident that okay, cool, this is the lane that I actually want to be in, and this is the type of stuff I want to be speaking about, you know. Because I feel like with MBJ it was very different because I was only speaking about one certain topic. We were only speaking about one thing in the Bible, and that was it. And there was nothing beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Like we couldn't speak about anything else because we were kind of like just afraid. So when I got to a point where I was solo, I felt like I could take on that journey of actually just speaking about, you know, the things that I've always wanted to speak about, like love. Like, what does love look like from my point of view as a young man? You know what I'm saying? What does commitment look like from my point of view as a young man? And, like, what does working for me as a young man mean? You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things that I've always wanted to touch on and speak about, I could speak about that in my solo career. And when I started taking on those things, I started realizing that your people are actually relating to this stuff, and these are things that people has actually been wanting to hear. So I saw a lot of growth from where I once started to where I'm at now, and the music that I'm making now, definitely.
Oh, for sure. No, the growth is evident. I think anyone who's followed your
The
career
journey.
and who's watching you,
Yeah.
there's progression, there's growth, there's development, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful to see. And on that topic, I mean, clearly there's been streets of development from that time to now,
Yeah.
because of course you started performing when you were very very young.
Yeah.
Now you are a little bit older. You're still very young from my perspective, from where I'm
Yeah,
sitting. You know,
definitely.
but what I want to ask then is that process. I think any artist, perhaps somebody who's listening to this pod, and they're a new artist. So I'm not talking about young in terms of you're a teenager. I'm talking about young in terms of your expression. You know, you're a new painter or you're a new artist. You're new to this form of creative expression. There is, of course, going to be this process of growth and discovering who you are and what kind of artist are you really. How did that unfold for you? How would you advise somebody else to facilitate that process of artistic growth and discovering who they are and what kind of artist they are and they want to be?
Yeah. Look, I think for me, like mainly, obviously, when I was with a group, right? So it was kind of like difficult because obviously we would only do music in terms of the group, and this is what the group, this was kind of like the group's calling, or let's say this is what the group was known for, and we know, okay, cool, the group doesn't move beyond these boundaries. And then when I went solo, for me, I started telling myself like I really just wanna talk about stuff that can be relatable for everyone else. And I realized that I was somehow kind of like boxed before. So I think it got to when I got to a point where I started feeling like, look, I now need to speak about things that I really think is important for me, like, and truthful to me. You know, I needed to get to that point. And when I got to that point, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna box myself anymore. I would listen to other artists as well. You know what I'm saying, and hear their point of view, like the music that they are making, and use that obviously for me as a tool to kind of like draw inspiration from it. But also not to do the exact same thing that they're doing in terms of the music, delivering like that, because I'm obviously in South Africa, so I can't sing the way Mali music sings, or I can't, rap like an American, the way from American point of view.
Or talk about the subway
Or
and
talk about the
baseball
subway and baseball, because those are not things that people here can relate to. But I just realized for me, like, I had to break out of that box and use whatever my favorite artist's music would like, and use that just for me as a reference, of them feeling as comfortable as they are to express themselves through their art. And that is something that I can do as well, but still being truthful to me and to my sound. And I think when I got to that point of just unboxing myself, and just of seeing as how free other artists are also, how free they are, it got me to a point where I was just like, yo, let's do this, man. So what I want to tell someone listening is that, like, don't box yourself. Like, don't feel like you have to just make music from one point of view and from one person's point of view. Like, always try to challenge yourself more. Like, always find out what it is that you can do that will make you relatable, number one, but it will also make you different, but that will also make you comfortable with what you are doing as an artist. And yeah, sometimes I think we as an artist, you also need to become uncomfortable to be comfortable. Sounds crazy, but you need to challenge yourself as an artist as well. Because sometimes being too comfortable is not a good thing, because you won't know what you can do if you're just stuck in that box. So I will just say to the Mensa, like, if you want to do other stuff, like, break out of that. Like, if you want to try new things, but at the same time, just make sure that you're always being truthful to you. Like, that's it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that last point you mentioned there is for me really important, because when I look at your work, when I look through your back catalog and I look at your current project that is out now, even though there's different genres, there's different styles of music, but it's still King Smasher, man.
Exactly.
There's a certain blueprint, there's a certain fingerprint to your music, regardless of the genre. And I would say, I mean, this is me guessing now, but I would say it's exactly that you're saying. Like, you're being true to yourself.
Yeah.
You're being comfortable with yourself as an artist, and that's kind of how you measure whether this thing is on brand for you or whether it's something that's in your lane.
That's true, bro. That's it. That's it right there.
So even referencing different people, you're still gonna bring it back to, is this me? Am I happy
Is
with
this me?
Is
Yeah,
it authentic?
Like, exactly. Is it authentic? That's
Okay.
true.
No, thank you, man. That's really, really helpful. Thanks for pointing that out. Just how one facilitates that growth process and how one progresses as an artist going through this whole thing. Shaun, you did drama in school, then you went to go do other stuff, then you started acting. I have never seen you in theater, although I've seen you most now on TV.
Yeah.
Doing the TV things. But did you ever experience like kind of that imposter syndrome? Like, what am I doing here? These other people are serious actors. Who am I?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I did. Like, I felt like that a couple of times. I felt like that in my first year when I was studying drama on college. Like, I felt like that. Like, I was like, yo, snap, these people are really good. Like, these people came here to act. Like, they came here to act. I came here because I was like, I discovered a love for acting recently. So it was like that new thing for me. So I wasn't as clued up as they were, and I wasn't as focused as they were. And determined and had the drive that they did, because they've known since day one that they've been wanting to do acting. I only discovered this vibe like a couple of days ago. You know what I'm saying? So in my head, I was like that. So I did feel like that. I felt like maybe I don't belong here because these people are like, they doing this. And it's only my second year that I started feeling like, I can actually do this. I felt like I was a good actor then. In my first year, I didn't take it much serious because I just felt so insecure, and I just felt like I didn't belong, where I was at. So yeah.
And how did you overcome that insecurity? Was it just experience, or did you have to make a switch in your?
I think I had to make a switch. Yeah, definitely had to make a switch in my head. Number one, but I also started realizing that people started really believing that I was actually good, and for me, I was like, you know what? If people actually see that and think that I can really do this, like, I feel like more than 5, 6 people won't lie to me and tell me that I'm good and that I'm not really good. So it does mean that there is something there, and I kind of felt like that sparked my confidence, definitely a lot. And yeah, I just got to a point where I overcame that obstacle in my mind, because that's most where the biggest that's most your biggest obstacle that you have. It's in your mind. And I needed to overcome that and motivate myself and tell myself, like, look, I belong here. Like, there's a reason why God allowed for me to come here. I mean, I was one of the only students in my class whose mom wasn't paying for their studies, or who couldn't afford to pay for their studies because of money problems. And for me, it was just like the fact that finance wasn't there, and other people with finance wasn't there. They were removed out of the class. Like, they couldn't continue with the course. Like, I was one of the only people who was chosen to continue with this course. And you must know, my mom wasn't working, so she couldn't pay for my studies. So for me, it was just that fact of I had to take that into consideration and be like, yo, there's probably a bigger reason as to why I'm then here and why God has allowed for me, out of all people, to kind of like still be doing this. Like, if he didn't want me to do this, he would have removed me with the rest of the people. But now I'm here without any money, having an opportunity. I need to make this work. Like, I need to get my act together and tell my doubts in my head that, yay, we must make this vibe work, because at the end of the day, there's people counting on you to make a success of yourself, not for them, but for yourself. And yeah, I just got to that point, and I think it all happened for me. But like you said, it had to be a switch. So yeah.
And that sounds like something you can apply in other walks. Like, if you had to now pursue the directing career, as a thing.
Yeah.
It seems like it's this. You can apply the same principles there.
Exactly.
And say, look here, I know what I'm doing. I'm building up a track record.
Exactly, it's true.
Yeah. And often, like, do you not find that is mostly in your head? Like, I don't think there's many other people who are telling you what are you doing
Exactly.
here.
Not at all. I feel like you are that. That's why I say that, and that's why they say the biggest obstacle is your mind, because you are the one, like, trying to block yourself from all these possibilities of you actually becoming really successful. But it's your mind telling you you can't, you telling yourself, nah, it's impossible. It can't happen because, this and that and that. It's you doing that to yourself. So, yeah.
That's like it to you. That's like it to you. I must say, I personally got a love for theater. Like, later on in life, I thought I was going to be like this big, the international global rapper and all over the show, and and then you discover, no, but there's other stuff that's also fun, and these other things that are fun besides the whole stadium vibe that you see Jay-Z and these other guys do.
Yeah.
I came to really appreciate the theater space, because
Definitely.
people who come to theater are coming there to listen. They aren't coming there to talk to the person sitting next to them,
Yeah,
or to go
exactly.
take a walk and sit at the bar,
That's
like
true.
when you're performing at the club. They there to listen, and
They're
I
there
came
to
to
listen.
really appreciate the theater space for that. So yeah, I really love being in that space. But I mean, I also, similarly to you talking about imposter syndrome, you have to in your mind tell yourself that you are doing the things, but also not forbear you, as they say,
Yeah,
be real.
true. Yeah, be real to yourself. It's true.
There's
That's
people
also
who've been
true.
doing this for 40 years. They know more than you. They know a little bit more, and let
That's
them
true.
talk. Yeah.
That's true.
Sean, let's move away from the acting for a little bit and talk about your music. You got a new project out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gregoria, it's blowing up.
Hey, man.
Everyone's talking about
Hey,
it.
hey.
In fact, we had some friends over a few weeks ago when it just came out, a day or two after it came out.
Yeah.
And I was like asking the guys, hey, has anybody heard Shaundeon's new project? And Cal Recruiter's like, I bought it. Whoops out his phone, connects to the Bluetooth, and we were jamming to it. So that's been my experience, is that
Sure.
people are
Nice.
engaging with it, people are enjoying the music, they're listening to it,
Yeah.
they're buying it, importantly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, well, that, like, creating an album is not easy.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, it's hard work, man. It's hard work because, like, I can remember with most of the songs, there were so many songs in there that we had to try and perfect. We recorded, stopped. We mixed and mastered it, stopped. Wanted to scratch it, stopped. And then we just had to, like, come back to the drawing board. And, it was just such a process. But then obviously, I think in the end we decided, okay, these are the songs that's gonna make it. Normally I will sit down with the team and we'll decide together, like, okay, cool, these songs are gonna make it. But this was actually a crazy project because with myself, like, I myself decided on the songs that I sent it to the producer and I told them like these are the songs I really think should be on, and they listened to it and they approved it immediately. They were like, nah, they think it's fine. So yeah, I think we achieved something good with the project.
Do you feel like your other disciplines, like the acting background, complements this in some way?
Yeah, definitely. One thing I know what acting does with especially with music, it allows me to be honest, and it allows me to be truthful and to mean what I say. That's what I realized with acting. So now when I'm recording a verse and if I don't feel it as much and if I don't believe myself, I then stop my verse and then I record it again until I have that emotion right. So now acting does that. Like acting automatically allows me to have that correct emotion for the verse that I'm trying to put into this vibe, into the song, and how I want people to feel when they listen to the song. So now when I have the song, then I before I start recording it or whatever it is, I ask myself like, what do I want to achieve? Like, how do I want people to feel when they listen to the song? Because for me, that's important. And that comes from acting, you know, when you're saying something and when you portraying a role, like you need to find out like, how do you want people to feel when they are seeing this character? And so for me, I try to do that in my music now. So acting has definitely helped a lot where that's concerned. It's also just allowed me to be much better with time management as well. Because you know, with acting, you have to be on time for rehearsals. The production starts on time with theater.
Nobody's waiting for you.
Nobody's waiting for you. You know, those kind of things. So even in that, it's allowed me to respect my music even way more. So now I treat studio time as in studio time. If I'm going to be there for 5-6 hours, I'm going to be there for 5-6 hours and not allow anything to come into my time, in between my time, for me to not be there that long. So yeah.
That's almost counterintuitive, eh? When you're saying acting allows you to be honest. Because you're thinking acting, it allows you to pretend.
Yeah, it allows you to pretend. That's true.
But you're saying it brings out the honesty in your work.
It does. Because look, with acting, just jumping back to that, with acting, you need to know, like, people, you can't fool people. And people will pick up when you're not being truthful to them. So with acting, it allows you to jump into a character, portray that person, but at the same time, portraying that person in such an honest way that people who watches you can believe that this is actually the character speaking and not Jerome Rick speaking to me. So there's a way of, there's definitely a sense of truth that comes with that, you know. You need to be truthful in order to sell the character to people. Because if you're not going to be truthful, people will pick up that you're lying and that you weren't in the role and that you weren't feeling the role and that you weren't made for the role, and that the character wasn't resonating with them. So yeah, there's definitely truth in that.
Shaun, you mentioned on socials, you talk a lot about your team. Like when Gregoria came out, you mentioned about the team and you and the team made some decisions and this is what you guys did. Even now you were talking about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about who is this team? What do they do for you?
True.
What is the purpose?
Yeah, so people always hear me say team, like I always say team, but yeah, I do have like it's not like a massive team, you know, like not like a massive, like I have a whole army behind me, but I definitely believe that I've got like a great support structure and system behind me that's like really super dope. So yeah, my executive producer is Easy Mimo, Aiden Lucian Moore. Then I've got another producer called, his name is Fadil Musa, and he's called Far Beats. Then I've got another producer called Tyrese Seneca. He's known as T45 Beats. Then I've got another producer whose name is Vanesco Williams. And those are my 4 producers who I normally work with, those 4. And they are so different in their form, in their art, in the stuff that they produce. But when I speak about my team, I speak about those 4 guys. And then also Living Legacy movement, obviously. So they support me with what I do, who consist out of Tyrese is a part of them. And then Lux Kent is obviously our CEO, you know. And then we've got Malco, part of the movement. We've got Kruth. And then we've got our other friend, his name is Marvin Kamani. He's also part of the movement as well. So when I say team, referring to them. And then also I've got a guy, a friend of mine who shoots my visual content. His name is Keenan Stevens. And he shoots most of my music videos, does my photo shoots and stuff. And then I've got 4 other friends. They part of a team called Stage Presence. And they do like my live recordings at shows and stuff. And yeah, they also just involved with what I do, like when what visuals they think I should be releasing in terms of live content and stuff like that. So they handle that again. So I'm just trying to think if I left out anyone. Not necessarily that I can think of. No, I think those. that's everyone in the whole. So
I mean, you said now it's
that's
not
my
a
whole
big team, but that's a pretty big team.
Doesn't sound big. That's it. I don't know, for me, it just feels like, but because at the same time, like, these are my friends.
Yeah.
So like for me, I don't feel like it's a massive team. I just feel like it's me and my friends doing this thing together. But the people I've mentioned now, they like support me a lot in what I do. So yeah, that's my team I was referring to.
And it sounds like they inform decision making as well.
They do. They definitely do. They do. Like, they'll tell me if they don't think a song's going to be fit for a project, they'll tell me if a song's not good enough for a project and stuff like that. They'll tell me if they think, nah, that won't work. So definitely they're honest with me enough in that. So I think it's good that I have that, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I personally, I'm of the opinion, like, if you just have somebody else, a second opinion, it gives the potential for a project to be better than if it was just you working on it all by yourself.
True.
You know, because you have other opinions and you have other people weighing in with things. So
Yeah.
you bounce ideas off people and you think this project is brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you think this creative choice you're making is in the pocket. But everyone else is like, nah, that's not it.
Exactly.
And sometimes you need that. You need people to just to give a different opinion so
Yeah.
that this thing can be as good as it can possibly be.
That's true.
So they inform, they weigh in, they act as a sounding board. They each have their own creative role that they do.
They definitely do.
And it sounds like you guys have found like a groove. You found a workflow that works for you when it comes to producing your content.
Definitely. I think we do, yeah. Like, yeah, they're amazing in what they do. Like, everyone is just so different. And everyone is just so on. Like, for me, it was very difficult, like, to find people that kind of, like, sees my vision. But with them, I just realized that with me pushing as hard as I do, they kind of just like latched onto my vision and saw what I was doing and understood what I wanted to achieve. And then they just like took me by the hand, and now we're just doing this thing.
Well, that actually brings me to my next question. I was about to ask, how do you find the team? Because clearly there's advantages. You've explained why it's important.
Yeah.
You've explained how it can improve the end product. So if somebody else was out there looking for a team or thinking, I need a team, where do you start? Where do you begin?
Where do you get a team?
Where do you get a team?
I don't think you look for... that's the thing I want to say. Like, I don't think you look for a team. I think a team finds you. Like, I think when you work hard enough and you're really honest about what you are doing and you work hard enough, like, people will start seeing that vision that you have for yourself. And you will see, man, automatically when you mind God's business, God minds, God minds your... what's the thing?
Your business.
God minds your business, basically. Yeah, sorry. So you'll see that when you focus on that and when your vision is honest and truthful and according to what He has in store for you, like, He automatically just aligns the correct people to come on board and take you by the hand and make sure that this thing gets carried out. And I think that's just how me and my team came along. But I mean, it's been friends that I've known for years, and afterwards they started developing skills. So obviously when they develop skills, I'm the guinea pig, They want to try it out with me. And luckily enough, I mean, they're good. They're great at what they do, and then they grow, and then we just work together hand in hand, and then boom, there we go.
That's actually a theme that comes up with a lot of creatives I've spoken to, as they kind of say, take stock of what you have in your network. Take stock of what you have personally, and then take stock of what you have in your friend-ship circle and in your broader network.
True, so true.
And then try and partner with those people, not sponge off them, but try and give them something that, let it be a partnership and really a two-way street and not just one person taking. Thank you for weighing in there. So I just want to say at this point to everybody who is listening that when I started this pod, I didn't have a dog. But now I do. So if you hear some barking in the background, it is a lifestyle choice that I've made to get a dog. And there's going to be some barking, and it's not always going to be in a place that is easy to edit out. Shaun, I have a question about just your career in general. So when I say career, I mean the whole package, the acting, the other pursuits, the creative pursuits. Like, because you've established you're a creative first.
Yeah.
And in 10 years' time, you could be painting, you could be doing something else entirely, something different. You could be dancing. Who knows?
Yeah, that's not happening. But shout out. But thanks for the thought, bro.
How's the way you manage your career changed over time?
That's a good question, bro. How's the way I managed my career, managed my time?
How? Like over time, let's say... from the beginning of your career to now, the choices you make, the career choices you make, and the way you forge vision for the future, how's that changed
Look, I
over
think
the time that you've been active as a performing artist?
Look, I think at first, back in the day, I would say yes to every gig. I would say yes to every studio session. I would say yes to every feature. I'd say yes to so many, Like, it's those kind of things. I'd say yes for every role. Just because I wanted to get out there and do my thing. But now I don't. Like, now I'm very picky about who I work with, what I put my hands on. Like, if people see me in a music video, maybe I'm not performing. And I'm saying this because I actually was in a music video yesterday, one of a friend's music video shoot and stuff like that. And it was really fun, like it was cool. But the reason for me doing that is because this has been a long friend of mine for years, you know what I'm saying? But I think if this was a couple of years back and based on where I was at and my maturity levels, like I wouldn't have been in the music video because I would have been like, nah, how can I be in your music video? Like what's people gonna say? You know what I'm saying? But now I've gotten to a point of where I'm so confident in who I am and I know my purpose. I know what I'm here to do. I know I'm supposed to be the light. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So now my decisions that I make is more calculated now. If I don't feature with you, it means that if I don't want to feature with you, it probably means that I just don't think that it's what I need for now. You know what I'm saying? And if I do work with you, it means that I see something really good in you, and I do think that I have something to bring to the table. And if I'm this honest, like I'm at the point now when if a song is really good as is, I don't see myself doing a verse on there because I wouldn't. Like I'll tell artists like I don't think I'm gonna add anything greater to what you already did on the song. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to make decisions like that whereby before I feel like I'll just say yes, like let me jump on it. But then I'm not being truthful to myself by being on the verses, and I feel like nah, don't belong on the song. This artist should just have another feature. They should just be on the song themselves. So now it's like that's the kind of decisions I'm making these days. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not saying yes to every gig because I realize that I try to be exclusive with my presence and with where I feel I am valued, but also where I feel I'm needed and where my sound and message is needed. So I don't just say yes for any gig or anything like that. I can actually just cancel shows if I need to. I can turn down shows even if the money they must be offering must be really good. But for me, my self-worth and my time, those kind of things are really important to me. So I found myself making those kind of decisions now in this life that I'm in now. Whereby before, I just did everything. Just said yes, studio time, yes, feature, yes to this role. For me now, if I don't agree or if I don't like this role personally, and I just feel like I don't want to play this role, then I'm not going to play this role. And that's it. And I can be fine to not audition for it or to turn down the role and be like, look, I'm not comfortable. I'm not going to be truthful to this role. I think you can get someone else. That's the kind of decisions I'm making today where my art is concerned. So I think for me, that's I don't know, but I think it's been a great journey to get to this point. So yeah, but it also took a lot of knocks, because before man was used a lot and all that, how it goes. So I think it's that brought me to this point.
It made you more cautious.
Yeah, it made me more cautious, to just say yes for anything. So.
But what I'm hearing also is like, again, what you said earlier, know who you are, know who you want to be, know what fits in. And if something doesn't fit that, then you need to have the guts to say no, because that's also difficult. Especially you're talking about money that's being turned down. So tomorrow, if you're eating eggs and bread, then you must know why. When you're eating peanut butter or salty cracks.
Exactly. Then you must know why. Like, you can't be like, but no opportunities aren't presenting itself. You need to make a decision where you tell yourself, like, the opportunities that's presenting itself, is it healthy for me? Like, is it healthy for my future? Is it healthy for my career? Like, is it healthy for my vision? Number one. So I feel like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So yeah, and I think knowing who you are is very important. And I think I've gotten to that point where I just know who I am. And now the decisions I make for my career and the stuff that I do and my time is just really different to back then, where I didn't know who I was because, clearly I was just saying yes to everything.
Yeah. So decision making becomes clear now. It becomes
very clear, yeah.
Maybe not easy, but clear.
Yeah, definitely not easy, bro. But clear,
yeah. Yes. Okay, so speaking of decisions, Gregoria, your new album, it's out.
Yeah.
When the album was released, it didn't go to the major streaming platforms. You stuck it on a on a new platform, in fact, that is selling music, and you
Yeah.
made it available for sale. So you didn't just give it away for free to the whole world.
Yeah.
You stuck it on this platform, and now it's for sale there. Could you talk about the decision making behind that? What
Yeah.
the choices were?
The decision behind that was like, look, we've dropped music on digital platforms before, and we just felt like we weren't making money. And I think that was basically just where we were at. We weren't making enough money to cover the cost of maybe, just the sound and the stuff that we've been hiring or whatever it is, like to host events or to be in studio. Like, we just felt like we weren't making that money back with streams and anything like that, because we maybe not big. We're definitely not big, because big artists obviously make much more money than what we do on streams, So we had to make a decision and just try and create something like that will be very effective in how we can make money. So two friends of mine actually just like decided, they got together, they created this platform called 1212, and they approached me because I'm their friend. They were just like, yo, we think you could make money, or with this thing and stuff. Like, we think it's a possibility of making money. It's a possibility for you to to just get some more money, because we know you haven't been making, you guys don't make money really from streams and stuff. Your just streams need to be on a certain level or certain amount of streams, then you get money for that and stuff. So they just approached me about it, and I really liked the idea, and I was like, let's try it, So what we did was, 2 weeks before Gregorio dropped on all digital platforms, we decided to drop it on 1212, so we had it available for pre-order, and we decided to trial it, and a lot of people pre-ordered, and they got the project, they bought it. And for us, that was like a win, because we didn't expect that kind of like love and support and stuff. And then we realized people actually will buy music. And then they bought the project. I mean, for me, that was great in itself. And we took that decision. We took that initiative. We removed it from YouTube. So we dropped it on all digital platforms. Not removed, it was never sent to YouTube. Let me say that. That was never an option, but we had it on all other digital platforms. Because we realized with YouTube, people can go onto YouTube, check it there, or they can somehow get the link and then kind of like still download the song onto their phone without paying for it. So we were just like, how can we eliminate that? And we decided to do that. We eliminated that whole thing. And now if people really wants the songs, they have to then buy it. And now they can download, because obviously with streaming sites, they can only save the project there on the actual site and then listen to it on there, of course. So if people really wants the music, we decided, okay, cool. Now what we'll do is we'll not drop it on YouTube. We'll then obviously then have we'll have it available on 1212, and then people can then obviously then just download it there. They get a link. They get sent a link. They click the link and then they download the entire project, and now the music is on their phone. So yeah, that's just the decision we decided to take. So the decision behind that was just to make money.
Yeah.
It was to make money. I'm just being honest, because we haven't been making money in a while for this music and from this music. And yeah, we made really good money off it. We made like over 1,000 rand already. And I mean, for over 1,000 rand, that's money I wouldn't have easily gotten back.
Dude,
So,
do you know how many streams you need on Spotify to make 1,000 rand?
exactly, bro.
You need probably like 20, 30,000 streams.
Yes.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. And this is a conversation you and I have often. It's like, we try as artists, I think the mistake we make is we try and do what the major labels are doing.
Exactly.
So you try and operate like a top 40 artist,
Yeah.
or you try and operate like a major. You try and do what EMI is doing, or you try and do what Universal is doing.
Yeah.
But we don't have the scale to do that. So you
don't.
need to be clever, and you need to do
Yeah.
other things. And I thought this was really clever. I thought it was really brave.
Yeah.
Because of course Means is asking you, where can I get it? Why can't I stream?
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's a true.
But it seems to be working. So well done,
Yeah.
man. Well done for making
Thanks,
that
bro.
decision and for getting it out there.
I will.
And also for thinking of different ways, man, like creative ways in
Yeah,
which,
definitely.
as a recording artist, you can make things happen for
Yeah.
yourself.
Definitely. Shout out to my friends for creating that platform, Alan and Neil. They went in with that whole concept and made it possible for us to now make some money.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Well
now
done.
we must definitely talk to them and how that all came
Definitely.
about.
Definitely.
When the time was right.
Yeah.
So Sean, that sounds dope. So it sounds like it's definitely something you're gonna do again from now on, like a model that you're
Yeah,
gonna try and emulate.
definitely. I'm definitely doing it again. I'm definitely planning to sell more music on the platform itself. and we're looking to just grow the platform, and we're looking to open it to so many other artists. Like they can go onto the site. There's like a thing that they can submit a form, and then they can obviously submit their music, and then the music can be loaded to the site, and then they can obviously have people buy it from there. So yeah.
How tired are you of this concept of the starving artist, man?
Yeah.
Like when you say you want to make money, people
Yeah.
are like, but don't you love what you do?
Yeah.
Aren't you an artist?
Yeah, dude, imagine. And they think that like maybe the producer that you work with doesn't need to get paid, or doesn't have bills to pay, doesn't eat, all those things like doesn't get taken into consideration. So I've always been like really tired of that, that narrative of people just expecting us to do this thing, and not expecting us to feed our families. But they'll pay millions of money to go and see other artists, perform, big artists, you know what I'm saying? And it won't be a problem for them to do that. But the minute we try and make some money, it seems as if we trying to ask for too much.
Well, not just that, the plumber comes and he fixes your tap here at home, and then you're like,
Exactly.
when he wants money, you're like, yeah, but don't you love what you do?
Imagine you tell the plumber that. Imagine. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Exactly. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, absolutely. What we do has value. What we do needs to be valued.
Yeah,
What we do is
definitely.
worth something. And if you look at the whole value chain, I think what you're saying is so powerful, because if people are not getting paid, if the mix engineer is not getting paid, if the
Yeah.
producer is not getting paid, 5 years from now, you're not going to find producers anymore.
Exactly.
Because those
That's
guys are
true.
going to go do something else that does bring in
Yeah,
money. So
that's
it's
true.
important to look after that whole value chain. And really consider who is involved in this process. Because if you consider how many hours it takes to make one song,
Yeah, you're true.
that three
A
and a
song
half
that's,
minutes.
imagine, I was going to say that now. That 3 minutes and something seconds, like, you see it there and you think it's probably just that. But I mean, that song could have taken months, and the amount of mixing and mastering that had to go into there, the amount of times the artist must send the song back, the amount of takes you must do. Ooh, that's the tiring thing. Like, the amount of takes you must do in studio, like, all of those things. Like, it took time for you to get that 3 minute and a half song that you have there. So, yeah, people need to think about those kind of things as well.
Absolutely. I like taking it even a step further when I make that example to other people who are not in the industry themselves, but besides the people who are actively involved, think of the people who those people affect. Because when I'm in the booth and I'm recording, then that's time that I'm not hanging out with my wife. I'm not hanging out with my kids.
Yeah, true.
I'm not chatting to you on WhatsApp, sending 5-minute voice notes.
Voice notes, yeah.
Because I'm busy recording it. So it affects a much broader spectrum of people as well. And it's a whole lot of time and effort that goes into
That's true,
producing
bro.
a quality product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shaun, listen, this has been absolutely amazing. It's been wonderful talking to you. It's been great hearing how you think
Yeah.
and how you structure your career, how you make decisions about
Yeah.
where you are going. Anybody who's interested in following you, seeing what happened next, how do they get in touch?
Devs.
What's happening? Gigs, events, shows?
Yeah, Divs. The only gig I can think of now that's happening is on the 27th or 28th. I'm at my collective EP launch. Then I'm doing a couple of other events again in December. I'll probably post that sometime. But yeah, people can always check me out on social media. Smash the Greatest, that's Facebook and Instagram. TikTok, Smash the Greatest. And then on Twitter at Smash the GST. They can find me on all those platforms. And then, definitely. I'm not going to say new music coming as yet. We are working on stuff, but we'll probably only release that next year late. But definitely music videos is coming. Live shows is in the pipeline. And we're planning to do tons of music videos from the Project Gregoria. But I am working on new music with other artists, definitely. That's something that's happening. But I mean, as in terms of my solo projects and stuff, for now we've decided to just focus on Gregoria and just make sure that we perfect this project. And do a couple of music videos off that. And then once we're ready, we'll drop more music. But other than that, I am collabing with a bunch of artists in Cape Town. So people can always find me, on other major songs also and stuff. So yeah,
You're out there.
I'm out there, definitely, boss.
Shaundeon Afrika, it was super dope talking to you. This has been the Make Art Podcast, if you are interested in supporting this podcast, please go and visit patreon.com/Jerome Rex. There's some information there about how you can get involved and about how you can keep us on the air and recording and talking to dope artists such as the person I've just been in conversation with. Thank you and be blessed.